Hey everyone. You know, depending on how you look at it, in a sense, whether you go by a birthday kind of routine, where it's like year into year, it marks a year, whatever, or you just go by the way it is, the way of an event, if you will. And what I mean by the way of an event is more along the lines of, let's say, a Super Bowl. Like this year's Super Bowl 50, even though originally Super Bowl 50, if we take a look at the information, should have been last year or next year. And it's the same with WrestleMania. WrestleMania is an event that's in its 30, going on to WrestleMania 32, when in actuality it's 31. So when you look at that, and then you hear people talk about, oh, this year's the 25th anniversary of Sonic, they're going by a birthday anniversary routine, right? Absolutely. If they wanted to, they could have said it's the 27th, 26th anniversary, and last year was 25. But that's not true. But yet there's a show that, depending on how you look at it, and you see it right there, that in 1977 was something that we had not seen since. We had not seen this since. And that is Laff Olympics. Now, I talked about Laff Olympics in my early day, back when I started the cartoon flashback. I even asked, I think, the question of what is Laff Olympics? Well, as the title says here, I'm going to give you the lowdown, the history of Laff Olympics. You see, Laff Olympics began in 1977 on ABC. Now, from what I understand, and you can even watch TV Trash with Chris Moore, and he'll tell you a similar situation. He'll tell you a similar situation. And that is that Laff Olympics was built, or was created. Laff Olympics was created as a more Saturday morning, if not kid-friendly, uh, adaptation of, if you will, of Battle of the Network Stars. That's right. Battle of the Network Stars was sort of an Olympic-like event, basically a sporting event that um, gathered some of the top network stars and some of the non-top network stars um, from various shows on various networks, brought them together to compete in these events. Now, Laugh Olympics took it to another level, if you will. And it says here on the Wikipedia page that the show was a spoof of the Olympics and the ABC television series Battle of the Network Stars. So hold on for a sec. Sorry about that. I had to clean some lint off the mic. But anyway, it was basically, like it says here on the Wikipedia page, a spoof of the Olympics and the ABC show at the time, Battle of the Network Stars, which debuted, according to Wikipedia here, a year before. Now, this was probably the biggest lineup of any cartoon characters that you can think of, probably until House of Mouse. Here's what I mean. This consisted of 45 hanna-barbera characters on 3 different teams. You had the Scooby Doobies, the Yogi Yahooies, and the Really Rottens. Now, what was unique about this in the history of Laff Olympics is when you listen to that name of teams, you probably wonder who's on what team. If you don't know about Laff Olympics by now, you're probably wondering who was on the Doobies, who was on the Yahooies, who was on the Rottens. Well, here was the thing. The Scooby Doobies consisted of a lot of the Hanna-Barbera characters up to that point from the 70s. A lot of the mystery-solving teams. A lot of the crime-fighting, mystery-solving characters and groups. They were part of the Scooby Dooby team. On the Yogi Yahooie team, you had a lot of anamorphic characters. Mostly characters of the Yogi Yahooies that came from the late 50s and throughout the 60s. That's, you heard me. The late 50s, throughout the 60s, and the early 70s all were part of the Yogi Yahooies. Now, the only exception out of all that was Grape Ape. Grape Ape had debuted about a couple of years before as part of a combo series with Tom and Jerry. So him being on there was sort of the exception. And what I mean by exception was the fact that he originally, when you think about it, should have been a Scooby Dooby. But since he fit more into the mold, if you will, of the Yogi Yahooies, well, that answers your question. Now, the Really Rotten team was probably the only true original team there. Hold on for a sec. But like I was saying, Grape Ape was the only exception. As a matter of fact, if I look over the information here, it says that Grape Ape, when it came to Yogi Yahooies, is the only post-1962 character in the lineup. Because like I said, this is most of the characters that were on there. They were. Most of these were from like I say, the late 50s and the late 50s and 60s. That's where these characters came from. It was mostly the 60s. It says here that the Yogi Yahooies consisted of a team mainly drawn from the 50s and 60s Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So late 50s, late 50s and throughout the 60s. And is the only team of characters made up completely of anamorphic animals. And like I say, Grape Ape is the only post-1962 character in the lineup because Grape Ape, if I look it up here, debuted in 1975. A month after my sister was born. Not a month, but basically a week after not even, no, 7 days, if you will, 6 days after my sister was born, my older sister. Now, that is kind of unique to have a character like that in that scenario, but anyway, that's basically what these teams were. Now, the Really Rottens team did consist of some established characters in their own right. Mumbly, who was the team captain, was from the Mumbly cartoon show and was inspired basically by Muttley from the Wacky Races cartoon. And Mumbly's co-captain, if you will, Dread Baron, is inspired by Dick Dastardly. Now, here's what's funny here. Now, Wikipedia found this information out. Well, you can also find it by Googling it. It says Dread Baron, even though he is bears a resemblance and is loosely uh, inspired by Dick Dastardly, according to this, in Laff Olympics number 13, which was the comic book, Laff Olympics did have a comic book, it is revealed that Dick Dastardly, the Dread Baron, and Dick Dastardly are twin brothers. And it says, and the Red Max. So basically, he draws an resemblance from that. The Daltons came from the Quick Draw McGraw cartoons, the three Dalton characters, and everybody else was basically on the Rottens team. Was based off other established hanna-barbera characters that I guess because of licensing or something, I don't know, they couldn't use. For example, the Creepley family. You had Mr. and Mrs. Creepley and Junior Creepley. They were based off the Gruesomes from the Flintstones, as well as Mr. and Mrs. J. Evil Scientist. And they had an octopus, which, according to Wikipedia here, is a hybrid version of Squiddly Diddly and Oko the octopus, pet of the Gruesomes. Now, another character, the Great Fondue, according to Wikipedia here, it bears a similar resemblance to Abner K. Dobry from the 1963 book Yogi Bear and the Cranky Magician. Magic Rabbit bears a resemblance to the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, or What's Not the Kid, or What's a Nice Kid Like You doing in a place like this. Daisy Mayhem is an original character. There's no inspiration. Well, actually, there is an inspiration according to this. It says her inspiration, her resemblance is to Little Abner character, Moonbeam McSwine. So, yeah, that's the Rottens team. Now, the Yogi Bear team, you're probably thinking, well, what about the other lineups? Who was on the Yogis? Who was on the Doobies? Well, the Yogis team consisted, of course, of Yogi Bear, Boo Boo, Cindy. That's right, Yogi Bear, Boo Boo Bear, Cindy Bear, Huckleberry Hound, Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx, Hokey Wolf, Yacky Doodle, Quick Draw McGraw, Snooper, Blabber, Augie Doggy, Doggy Daddy, Wally Gator, and of course the only exception, the mid 1970s character Grape Ape. Now the Scooby Dooby team, according to this, was mainly drew from the 1970s Hanna-Barbera cartoons, particularly the mystery-solving series derived from Scooby-Doo. So here's the lineup for the Scooby-Doobies. The Scooby-Doobies consisted of course, Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Scooby-Dum, Dino-Mutt, Blue Falcon, Captain America, Brenda Chance, Taffy Dare, Dee Dee Sykes, who are all part of the Captain Caveman and Teen Angels show, Speed Buggy, Tinker, Babu, and Hong Kong Phooey. Now, that's all great and everything, but did you know that that's not the initial lineup for the Scooby Doobies? This is part of the history of how Laff Olympics came to be. You see, early in production, and you can even see this, and you'll probably see it throughout this video when I get to the point. As a matter of fact, let me see where we're at. Okay, probably as we get to the 15-minute or past the 15-minute point, you'll see this picture, and on the picture, you'll notice that the lineup for the Scooby Doobies is completely different. You see, the original Scooby Dooby lineup consisted consisted of not Cap consisted of not Hong Kong Phooey or Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. That's right. Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels were never supposed to be on the Scooby Dooby team. The reason they were there is because they had to replace four characters, actually three main characters, because of licensing issues. One of the characters was Genie, which was based off the hanna-barbera cartoon Genie, which Babu comes from. But because Columbia Pictures owned the rights to Genie, they couldn't use her. Thus, believe it or not, that's where Hong Kong Phooey comes in. Then you had Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. Well, Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels were not supposed to be part of the Scooby Doobies. Instead, you were supposed to have, are you ready for this? Alexandria, Melody, and Sebastian the Cat from Josie and the Pussycats. That's not a lie. The Josie and the Pussycat characters of Alexander, his sister Alexandria, the cat Sebastian, and Melody were all supposed to be part of the Scooby Doobies. But again, just like with Columbia Pictures, they could not, Archie Comics did not allow them to use, because of licensing rights, Archie Comics did not allow them to use those characters as part of the Scooby Doobies. Thus, Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels were put into their place. And that's not a lie. And that's not a lie because you look, like I said, you'll see it probably before, around, or past the 15-minute mark. But yeah, basically, the original Scooby Dooby lineup was different from what we had seen before, or from what was originally planned. Now, would have made things a little bit more interesting? Well, the writing definitely would have been different. So we can definitely the writing would have definitely been different, but who knows? Now, Laff Olympics ran originally from September, according to Wikipedia here, originally ran from September 1977, I believe. Yeah, September 10th, 1977 to July 31st, 1979. So basically, it ran from the time my second oldest sister was about 6 months old till I was only 6 days old. Yeah. So it ended when I was 6 days old. Go figure. Now it did have three producers on it. It had two producers in 1978, Don Jorvik and Alex Lovey, and Alex Scott. They did the 1978 run. So, well, that's what it says here. Now, they had different distributors as well. From 1977 to 1991, World Vision Enterprises distributed Laff Olympics. From 1992 to 96, Turner Programming Services distributed Laff Olympics. And now, 1996 to currently, Warner Brothers distributes Laff Olympics. Now, here's what's unique about Laff Olympics, and this ties into Cartoon Network and its spin-off Boomerang. Basically, during the summer and winter, if they got the schedule to obviously utilized with, then Cartoon Network, if not Boomerang, will air Laugh Olympics every weekend while the Olympics is going on themselves. So that way, fans of animation, kids, families can have an alternative, if you will, to the Olympics themselves. Now, oh, sorry about that. Now, that's how I basically got reintroduced to it because I do remember as a kid on the USA Cartoon Express uh, block, and I do remember for a time throughout the early portion of the 80s, they would show the Laugh Olympics on ABC. And again, USA Cartoon Express, when they got the rights to air it, I saw it there too, but I couldn't really remember much about it. I couldn't really remember much. And all of a sudden, Laugh Olympics came on, and I watched it. I enjoyed it. And it wasn't just them that came on, but I started finding out more about it with the VHS tapes and all that, which I do have right now, currently. So I looked and I wanted to know more about it. I bought the tapes, watched them, and enjoyed them because I thought it was, again, this was a great concept for the time. I mean, this was basically, like I say, up until maybe House of Mouse by Disney, this was the biggest lineup of characters in an animated series. Biggest lineup ever. And I thought it was pretty cool because you got to see characters interact with each other that you never thought you'd see interact. I mean, one of the episodes, towards the end of the first event of that episode, you had Taffy Dare of the Teen Angels, work with Cindy Bear of the Yogi Yahooies to help kind of win the contest, if you will. Because they weren't sure if maybe they were cheated or what was going on. So that was always a unique take there. That was a very unique. So again, that was the unique take about this show is the fact that you got to see those kind of collaboration, those team ups that you necessarily wouldn't see. I mean, heck, you had Shaggy asking Quick Draw for help about if he had a plan or something. I mean, that is that is the uniqueness of a show like this that it it had something that for everyone that you wouldn't expect. Now, because of the popularity of it, of course, the comic book was tied into it by Marvel Comics, I believe. I think it was Marvel Comics. Let me check. Yeah, basically about let's see, September, October, November, December. See, hold on. About 7 months later, Marvel Comics basically had gotten the license by was given the license by or the okay, if you will, was given the okay, if you will, by Hanna-Barbera to produce a comic book series based on Laugh Olympics. One of the members of the creative staff, according to Wikipedia, on the comic book was Mike Irvin, along with Carl Grafford, Scott Shaw, Jack Manning, Owen Fitzgerald, and others. Now, unfortunately, according to Wikipedia, uh, Laugh Olympics only lasted 13 issues. It says a Laugh Olympics comic book was also published in Australia by Sydney-based KJ Murray Publishing Company. And they say from 1980 to 1982, various Laugh Olympics stories were reprinted in Laugh Olympics annual hardback books in the United Kingdom by Fleetway. And that in 1996, an updated Laugh Olympics called the Superstar Olympics appeared in issue 6 of Hanna-Barbera Presents, which was a comic book series by Archie Comics. And the Superstar Olympics featured Adam Ant, Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy, Barney Rubble, Betty Rubble, Boo Boo Bear, Chopper, Cindy Bear, Dick Dastardly, Fred Flintstone, Grape Ape, Hokey Wolf, Huckleberry Hound, Jabberjaw, Magilla Gorilla, Muttley, Peter Ponemus, Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx, Quickjaw McGraw, Ranger Smith, Secret Squirrel, Snagglepuss, Snooper and Blabber, Squiddly Diddly, Top Cat, Touche Turtle, Wally Gator, Wilma Flintstone, and Yogi Bear. That shows you right there that if they're willing to update Laff Olympics into something that it could have been more, that could have definitely showed the potential of it being more, being more than what we saw. Hanna-Barbera Presents issue number 6, Superstar Olympics, did just that, from what I'm seeing here. Now, Laff Olympics also was spread out in other ways as well. It had a handheld pinball game in 1978 released. It had an old maid card game released in 1979. Now, the series did consist of essentially 16 episodes the first season and 8 the following season. And I should know this because I'm not just reading it off Wikipedia, but because I have the series itself recorded on DVD, which originally I transferred from my VHS to DVD when I had the ILO DVD recorder. So I was able to do it that way. So in a sense, you had 20. It was a 24, and I'm trying to make sure I get this right here. 24 episode series. Now, like I said, even though it only lasted for about 2 seasons, or if you want to look at it, a season and a half, it was actually a good concept. And like I said, every now and then, like maybe this year, Boomerang and Cartoon Network may or may not, I'm pretty sure Boomerang more often than Cartoon Network, will re-air the Laff Olympics in celebration of the Rio Olympics happening in the summer later this year. Now, the now to look back at this and like I said, look at the concept. It was really cool. It was really cool and really, like I said, a really unique concept because, like I said, you got characters interacting in there that you wouldn't think would interact. Now, could they have done more with Laugh Olympics? Absolutely. I mean, yes, they had some other Hanna-Barbera characters guest star in there, like Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, which was to tie into, I think, the current Flintstone series at that time, that was on the air at that time. You had Jabberjaw, which tied into the Jabberjaw series. You had Peter Ponemus, that I think tied into the Peter Ponemus series. You had all these you had all these interconnections of shows of characters from other shows that were currently running all the time at the time, or had just gone off the air and was going into reruns. That really, I think, in the year and a half, in the 1.5 seasons or 2 seasons of Laugh Olympics, really helped elevate it to a legacy that cannot be denied. Because again, it wouldn't be, in my opinion, until the early 2000s when House of Mouse came out that we would get a show similar to it with a huge lineup of cartoon characters. And to me, I don't think we'll ever see something like this again. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible. Hear me out. I'm not saying it's not possible. I mean, heck, I had to go and as best I could before I even started using. Well, I was using Windows Movie Maker, but not to not to the extent that can be used now. But I went on to create, just by compiling, I think 4 or 5 different episodes from Laff Olympics. I put them together as a movie. And that's like the last thing, well, along with the fan vid I did, which features the song Eye of the Tiger by Survivor, which you can see here on my YT channel. It comprised, like I said, of 4 or 5 episodes. And it's like the second to last one I would see on my second disc of my Laff Olympics collection. And it actually looks pretty good because basically it's going from one to, it's basically like, it's kind of like a compilation deal. It's kind of like with those old Looney Tunes shorts and even the Heathcliff movie. It's a compilation of episodes one after the other. Now again, do I think a concept like this again could be done? Probably, but I wouldn't put any money on it. But if it was to happen, honest truth, it needs to happen as a direct-to-video film. That's what it needs to do. It needs to happen as a direct-to-video film. It needs to happen as a direct-to-video film. If you're gonna do, if Warner Brothers, I should say, is gonna do these Scooby-Doo movies, then they need to do one based on Laff Olympics. Because originally, when Laff Olympics began, began as Scooby-Doo's All-Star Laff Olympics. That's what it was known as. It was known, and they even have a Wikipedia page for it, believe it or not, as Scooby-Doo's All-Star Laff Olympics. Now, according to the Wikipedia information here for the Laff Olympics, when Scooby's All-Star Laff Olympics was created, like I said, the series itself, the Laff Olympic concept itself was unique because of the fact that it was, something you didn't see every day. You didn't see that kind of concept every day. Now, well, you didn't see that kind of concept. You didn't see that big of a cast. You didn't. Now, what's unique about this, too, is the Laff Olympics, when it first began as Scooby-Doo's All-Star Laff Olympics, was one of the first, if not the first, 2-hour Saturday morning block. That's right. It was actually a block, but it was a series as well. So it was a 2-hour animated Saturday morning series that would air on ABC. Now, according to Wikipedia here, the 2-hour block would consist of, or the series would consist of, segments from Scooby, would consist of 4 segments or something like that. It would consist of the Scooby-Doo show, which tied in with Scooby-Dum being on the Laff Olympics, Blue Falcon and Dynamite, which tied into Laff Olympics, Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels, which tied into Laff Olympics, and Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, which in a sense tied in as well, but was reruns of the original, well, not reruns, new episodes and reruns, whatever, as well as the Laff Olympics cartoon itself. So basically, you had one 22-minute, a second 22-minute, a third 22-minute, a fourth 22-minute, and then you had Where Are You, which I think sometimes replaced the Scooby-Doo show. Now, during the second season, though, according to Wikipedia here, the show was retitled Scooby-Doo's All-Stars, and broadcast on ABC from September 1978 to from September 9th, 1978 to September 8th, 1979. Now, that's a little bit different than what they said before, but I can understand that because you see, the final episode, like I said, came out 6 days after I was born, and uh, the final official run, I guess you could say, under the All Stars name, was completed on September 8th, 1979, which would basically be when I was about a month old, a month and a few weeks old. Now, the runtime, according to Wikipedia here, and I know I'm saying that a lot, so I do apologize, went from 120 minutes to 90 minutes. Basically, by doing so, they dropped Blue Falcon and Dynamite and Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Now, they do... here we go. Here's the time lineup for some of them. Here's some of the time lineups. It says here's the overview according to Wikipedia, with the time limit of every show that was on there. Captain Caveman, for one episode, ran 11 minutes. Laff Olympics, one episode was 30 minutes. Scooby-Doo show, 30 minutes. So there's 71 minutes there. Scooby-Doo, was one 30-minute. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? One episode was 30 minutes. So there you had about 111 minutes. And then Blue Falcon and Dynamite was about 121 minutes, or initially 120 if you don't count the commercials. Excuse me. Now, it says here that when the Scooby's All-Star, when the show became Scooby's All-Stars during the second season on September 9th, 1978, Blue Falcon and Dynamite, like I mentioned earlier, and Scooby-Doo, Where Are You segments were dropped, and 2 Captain Caveman segments were broadcast instead of just one. 8 new Laff Olympics and 8 new Captain Caveman segments were produced for the block in 1978 and 1979. The Scooby-Doo show began the 1978-79 season in reruns starting from November 11th, 7 new episodes produced for an aborted revival of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? As a separate half hour will run as part of Scooby's All-Stars. And then it says, in closing on this Wikipedia page, for the 1979 to 80 season, the block was canceled and Scooby-Doo became a half-hour show as Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. Laff Olympics said Captain Caveman would resurface on ABC during the later part of the season in 1980. So there you go. There's that additional information on Laff Olympics. Now, again, like I said throughout this, throughout this, it was a unique Laff Olympics in itself was a unique concept because of the fact that you never saw this before. You never saw, like I said, characters that you would think at the time, and even nowadays with today's shows, you would think, oh, they'll never interact, they'll never cross over, they'll never, touch hands or anything like that. I mean, you would think. I mean, if it wasn't for, like, let's say, fan animation, flash animation, whatever, people that study animation as a major in college, if it wasn't for people like that, putting together little fan things. Like you go to D-Tunes here on YouTube, and you'll see little fan collaborations of the characters of Steven Universe crossing over and meeting the characters of Gravity Falls. Now, in reality, you wouldn't see that because Steven Universe is on Cartoon Network, Gravity Falls is Disney. So you really wouldn't see that happening. There's no way that would happen. Here, in a sense, since they were all hanna-barbera characters, it did happen, even though, in a sense, the genre that they represented was completely different and would basically make you think they're never really going to meet. They're never really going to touch. And yet, Laff Olympics provided that opportunity for it to happen. They did. And again, one of the best unique concepts ever that we may never see again. Like I said, the only way I think this could ever be revived is if it's part of the Scooby-Doo direct-to-video movies. Come on, Warner Brothers. You're doing all these other Scooby-Doo movies. Why not do one based on Laff Olympics? It would work. I think some people listening to this would agree. It would work. But until Warner Brothers does that, we may never see a concept like this again, except in the reruns that we get. Now, the series has been released on DVD through various volumes and stuff, including one that took all the volumes I guess you could say, volumes or episodes that have been released previously and put them together as the first season collection. Now, there is no doubt we need a complete series release of Laff Olympics. We need one. And either it's through Warner Archive or whatever, we need one. We need a complete series re-release of Laff Olympics. And you know what? Since Warner Brothers likes to test it out, since Warner Brothers and companies like them like to test the waters by putting stuff on the Blu-ray, I would suggest give us a Blu-ray release of Laff Olympics. Just compile all the episodes of the series, put it on one Blu-ray. There you go. Sell it through your archive. I guarantee you it's going to be a bestseller if they do it. But like I said, will we ever see it again? Another concept like this again? Probably not. But for Laff Olympics, it leaves behind a legacy that, again, the only other time we would see this kind of collaboration of all these cartoon characters in one place was Mickey's House of Mouse when they did it. And that was the last time we ever saw something like that. But for hanna-barbera, for them to do what they did, to not only bring this concept together, which was their take on two popular things at the time, the Olympics and the Battle of the Network Star series, for them to do that, but to expand it and not just make it, a half-hour series, but to expand it and add on these other cartoon series like the Scooby-Doo show and Scooby-Doo Where Are You and Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels and Blue Falcon and Dynamite, to have those shows coincide with them in a 2-hour series block. Let's not lie here. That 2-hour programming block was a series. It was not just a block. It was a series. It was a cartoon series, the longest probably in the history of Saturday mornings. Let's not kid ourselves there. But to look back and see that, it shows you the legacy that Laff Olympics left behind. Because now, just like it did in 1980 and later on in reruns on network and cable channels, on network channels and cable channels, it was condensed down to into its 30-minute format. Basically, it was condensed back down to just being the 30-minute format that it is, which is a good idea. But honestly, I have to say that Laff Olympics in general is something we're never going to forget. Why do you think in 1996, 10 years ago almost, why Archie Comics did the Hanna-Barbera Presents #6 issue as Superstar Olympics, paying homage to Laff Olympics and showing the potential of what it could have been like if they could have expanded. Now, like I said, there were some behind the scenes hiccups with it. Originally, the lineup for the Scooby Doobies was supposed to include Alexandria, Melody, and Sebastian the Cat from Josie and the Pussycats, as well as Genie from the Genie cartoon, but unfortunately, due to licensing, it didn't happen. Now, could it still? Now, if now, now here's the question: if the show had been done today, would those licensing be resolved? Would we be able to get characters like Alexandria, Melody, and Sebastian the Cat, along with Genie, as part of the Laugh Olympics Scooby Doo team? Probably, but then again, probably not. We don't know. But then again, you can't put anything past Warner Brothers and the love for Scooby Doo and what they're willing to do with that franchise because last year we got Scooby Doo and Kiss together in a movie. What does that tell you? You know, so to me, I look at Laugh Olympics is even though it had its hiccups, especially with licensing for certain characters, overall it's still something that if you can watch it and see it, you definitely get a kick out of. You'll definitely enjoy, and especially now looking at its history and what it's gone through, what it started, and what it started and the legacy because of that is left behind. I think you could sit back, even if you were not born at the time it came out, and I wasn't. I was just a baby when it ended. But as you got older, like me in the 80s and even the 90s, you got to catch up on it. If if you're someone that let's put it this way, if you're someone that appreciates animation, this is the show for you. This is the show for you to check out and enjoy. So, with that said, that is the history of Scooby's All Star Laugh Olympics or Laugh Olympics in general. Again, could it make a comeback? Absolutely. In fact, when I look at the possibility of Laugh Olympics today, I can definitely see a similar concept. I could see the Scooby Dooby team again. I could see the Yogi Yahoo team again. I could definitely see a team consisting of Cartoon Network stars. I don't know what they be calling themselves. They call themselves Team CN, maybe. I don't know. Uh, the Cartoon Networkers. I don't know. The cartoons. Maybe that might be a good one. So could I see it happening again? Probably not. But if it did, I would say bring back the Yogi Yahooies as you had them. Probably add a few new characters to the lineup. Same with the Scooby Doobies. Leave them as they were. Maybe add a few characters to the lineup. The Really Rottens, definitely bring them back. Add a few characters to the lineup there as well. But then also add in maybe a team that consists of today's Warner Brothers Cartoon Network stars as well. I mean, heck, Warner Brothers, you have Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera under the same roof. I think you have a team. You have the Looney Toonies. That'd be a great team. You have the Cartoon Network stars. That'd be a great team. So again, I could see something like that happening if they decide to revive Laugh Olympics. So, but overall, folks, I would say this: check out Laugh Olympics. You will not regret it. You'll enjoy it.